I really don't think that there are enough words to describe how amazing this show is and how amazing this week's episode was. And I can't believe I figured out a major part of this show because that's just epic, because how hard is this show to figure out? We'll talk about that in just a little bit. So, plus I have so many theories and ideas about it, and oh my gosh, we have to get right on into the video. So, here's the deal. We start back where we left off from the last episode because Annalise is trying to get away from Philip. He's appeared from under the bed. He's grabbed her legs and they're having a struggle. But I hope that you guys caught this. He was saying, stop, stop. Now, if he was trying to attack her, kill her, hurt her, he's not going to say stop. He's going to keep trying to hurt her. I think he wanted to talk to her or something because he's obviously the red herring here. He's not our main villain. He was trying to tell her maybe his side of the story. Maybe he thinks she's the villain or that he thinks she's been blackmailing him. There's a lot more to this Philip story. It's all going to be cleared up next week, but he's not the bad guy. He's not the murderer. And he disappears after this. She's able to get away, thankfully, but he gets away. And here's what I think, that he's dead. And I think Caleb is our main villain. And I think Caleb has killed him. We know 2 people are going to die. And we know 3 people are going to be revealed as backstabbers. And I can't wait. And I'll give you my thoughts on those in just a little bit. So, of course, we have Caleb missing, and I think that he's missing because he's murdered Philip and who knows what else. I also think Caleb is the person who murdered his aunt and both of his parents. Catherine's in jail, so she's probably not doing much of this, but I think that's going to be one of the big reveals for next week's episode, which looks amazing based on the promo. I mean, come on, guys. So, the district attorney they're kind of in hot water here about the night that Sinclair died because somebody saw Asher in that parking garage, and the district attorney knows that things are just not adding up. But I think they're going to get out of it because they always do, and I think the way they will get out of it is because all this stuff's going to be revealed about Caleb and whatever, and it's all going to go down next week. So I don't think they're going to go to jail or anything because of that. So Bonnie was being like the super villain in this episode and so shady, and she really drove me crazy when she confessed to Frank that she knew about him killing Lila, and he was like, wait, did you hear that from Laurel? And she wouldn't say anything, so she implicates Laurel. Now he thinks Laurel's telling his secret, which that didn't happen. At least it hasn't happened yet in the episode, and it's putting her in a really bad place, and things just get worse for her as this episode progresses. So you guys know, if you've watched my videos, that I think that Oliver could be one of our surprises next week, and I say that because I think he perhaps is working for these bad guys. Like, I think he might be connected in with Caleb or something's going on, that he's not the person we think he is. I just think that would be the ultimate twist because we have no reason to suspect him. He's a great guy. Everyone loves him, but that's usually who ends up being the craziest and who ends up being like a killer. So I was waiting for clues in the episode, and I thought, well, maybe I'm wrong about that. But then I got my clues at the bar scene between him and Connor, where he says he has a lot of secrets. Now that freaked me out. Wow, I was really excited at that point. I was like, oh my gosh, what's he going to say? Is he going to let us know that he's the bad guy? And he didn't, but he said one of his secrets was that he quit his job. Now you might say, who cares? I don't care why he quit his job. But I would tell you that this show does everything for a reason. They wouldn't have even brought it up if it hadn't meant something. So why did he quit his job? Well, we could go a couple of different ways here. On one hand, he could have lost his job because his illness has progressed more than he's told Connor and others. He may not feel like he has a lot of time left or a lot of time being healthy, but I don't think that's what it is. On the other hand, he could be knowing that things are going to get bad for him. He may think he might not live very much longer because he's wrapped up in something criminal, that he might get killed, might go to jail, I don't know. And then the third thing is that he was serious when he said he really would like to work for Annalise. Maybe he does become a part of her group and becomes the 6th person next season. But I would love to know what you think about Oliver, if you think of any of that stuff as possible, or if I'm just totally out of the ballpark here. So we learned sadly what happened to Annalise's baby. I think we all knew that it probably was no longer alive. So she was involved in a car accident, a very bad one, and the baby did not make it as a result. It was almost ready to be born. So incredibly sad. Now, we have a live chat every week, How to Get Away with Murder, and it was a lot of fun this week. It was great. And some people suggested to me, because I'm not going to take credit for this idea, that perhaps the person who hit her was a setup from Mahoney, which I think is a really good idea. What do you guys think about that? Some people even thought that Frank may have done it. Now, I don't really know about that, but the Mahoney setup thing could definitely be that, be the answer there. Now, the scenes with her, that's going to win Viola another Golden Globe because it was heartbreaking to see her there with her dead baby. She acted seriously like it was really happening to her. I thought Sam acted a little strange. I don't know, but of course it's a strange situation, so everyone's going to react differently. It's a very terrible, tragic situation, but wow, what a touching scene. It shows you why Viola is such a rock star of an actress and why the show is so, so good. So Annalise tries to tell Wes the truth about, you know, his mother and how she's felt guilty. She tells him the truth, how she's felt guilty, you know, ever since that happened 10 years ago. But he just doesn't trust her at all anymore, and he doesn't believe a word she's saying. So I don't know. Their relationship is really, really, really not good. But at one point I yelled and screamed at my TV because I cannot believe I figured out that Mahoney Sr. is Wes's dad. I know some of you were sure that he was born in Haiti and immigrated over here, but no, he was a product of rape, sadly, because Annalise finds out that Rose was super scared of Mahoney because he'd been raping her, and Wes was a result of that, aka Kristoff. Wow. Just wow. Now, I'll throw this out there. Do you think perhaps Mahoney could be tied into this Hapstall, you know, bigger crime thing? At first I thought he could be. I thought maybe he was kind of the one connected to all of this and was blackmailing them. At this point I'm not so sure, but I definitely think that we haven't seen the last of him, that Wes will go try to meet him. He's in New York. I think that that's definitely probably going to carry over and be a theme for season 3, but I want to know what your thoughts about that are and where you think they will take that character and that revelation. So we definitely need to talk about the Michaela Asher hookup, which they've had a couple of really strange hookups between characters this season. At some point I feel like it's kind of silly just because there's so much actual real stuff going on that, you know, makes sense and that's smart about this show, and they don't really need to go there and throw crazy hookups together just because of the shock value. But you know, whatever. I just think it'll kind of be a fling, kind of like Laurel and Wes, but we'll have to see because at least it carries on into next week's episode. So one of the bombshell moments of this episode was after they'd all been out getting drunk, Laurel decides to go to Annalise's house and ask about Wes, because it seems like she does actually have some feelings for him. But then she thinks that he asked Frank to kill Lila, which is not true. And she's like admitting that to her. But this is the very first time Annalise has heard that, and that completely freaks her out because, of course, she's been fine all this time with Wes killing Sam because she thought he was a murderer who killed Lila and who was pregnant. And now she knows the truth. So she goes to her mom's house because she needs some time away and some time to think, and wow. Just wow. So I just want to say the promo for next week's episode looks crazy. And by that I mean crazy good, because I thought this episode was fantastic, but I know that next week's episode is going to be even better. So I'm freaking out, and we know that 2 people are going to die, so I want to talk about who I think those people are going to be. Now I think the easiest way for them to do, the easiest guess, the most likely guess here is that Philip has already killed Caleb, and that's why, Caleb has already killed Philip, and that's why they're both missing. One, because Philip is dead and Caleb is like on the run because he's killed someone, and people may find out soon. So our 2 dead people will be Philip and Caleb. Now, if they want to go outside the box, I could also see contenders being Eve or Nate or Oliver as our dead people. I want to know who you think below is going to die and why. Absolutely love to know that, because I'd love to hear your theories on that. As far as our backstabbers, I think Bonnie's backstabbing ways are going to be revealed, Laurel's backstabbing ways, and I think Frank probably has more secrets than we know. But I low-key hope, or actually big major key, how do you even, what's the opposite, high-key hope, that Oliver is going to be our backstabber. Because 3 people is quite a lot, and they're such a shocking show, they're not going to just throw out the same people that we already know. So we already know pretty much about Bonnie and Laurel and Frank. So who do you think is going to be our backstabbers? But there's going to be a really bloody scene because we saw that room in the promo. I just can't wait for how epic this is going to be. So can't wait to see what you think about it. And if you love this show and love mystery types of shows, I would really love if you would subscribe if you've stumbled across this video, or if you've been watching but you just haven't. It would really help me out. So please hit that subscribe button. I want to let you know that I love you guys so much, and thank you so much for watching this episode of Kelly TV. Bye guys.